So we are live, and welcome to the QE Tools Workshop in this day, the 9th of June. What we will do is we will continue with the topic talking about openqa-trigger from OBS, where in it actually was in April, we looked in openqa-trigger from OBS in a nice introduction. So thanks to Andre for sharing your presentation at that point. Today, we would like to continue with that, follow up in the next steps. That is sharing real-life examples. Maybe check out the project and try to bootstrap the development environment for anyone wanting to contribute. That is, check out the clone project, call the tests, make them fail to understand what it is doing.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe maybe anyone has some ideas what to do. I probably will start without introduction because yeah, we did it last time, and if somebody needs it, just find video on YouTube from last session. So yeah, the question is maybe somebody has some request ideas that we can try now to fix, or I will go with what I prepared as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so speak up.
So yeah, so I would be wondering if anybody has cases of, something where you added something to this project, added a new project, sharing your experiences, either good or bad, something that worked out or something that was maybe surprising, some changes that you were trying to introduce but never managed to do so, or maybe problems arising on the go when trying to do that.
Yeah, what I said is quite confusing to work with unless you know all the challenges that are around. I tried to express the challenges last time, and this in this presentation, the tricky part that we cannot um, easily test it because we need like full setup of OBS, which is a challenge on its own. So the idea was that we like split into 3 steps, and then we cannot test the first step when we get LST files from OBS server, but we can easily test further steps, the generation of bash commands from these LST files. So if we go to test folder in the project, this is example LST file. We assume that we read it from OBS, and these are, for example, based on that LST files, the actual commands that will be executed, and we can preview it and we can diff them as well.
Okay. Second, that you're sharing us. I don't.
Oh, maybe. Sorry.
I think you need to realize from saw it in before. Yeah, there we are. Yep.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Again, yeah, we go to OBS project into test folder. And for this, we have lib15.4 images. And yeah, this example LST files that contains basically ISO files or images that we read from OBS at some point. And based on this LST file and XML that we have in XML folder, we expect that these commands will be generated. So test itself, it just shows expectations. And test failure, it doesn't mean this particular test failure doesn't mean that something wrong. It means that these expectations that we have in GitHub, they are different from what we get in actual output that gets LST files and generates the commands.
Yeah, we have an hand raised from Raja Kumari. Would you like to speak up? Okay, never mind. Continue. Sorry.
Yes, and the same from ISO's post commands that actually start tests once the images are synced. What I wanted to try today is to check if we um, if we look at these commands, they look like wall of text, which is good and bad at the same time, because good is it's very easy to troubleshoot. There's no surprises. It's exactly as it is. And bad, yeah, it's kind of hard to uh, comprehend from this wall of text what will be done. And but it's more or less good to see the difference um, that was introduced at some point. So, for example, in this commit, there was minimal image introduced. Yeah, we see it here. And now we get
It was basically
additional
a
comments.
rename.
The problem that ideally, in when you don't change version in LST files, but sometimes it do. So when you change version, obviously all the command will change as well. So i-
Yeah.
this is why diff is so big. But or maybe we can do it in two commits. First we change version, and second we introduce the change, because yeah, it's a two-edged sword. But yes, still it's kind of more or less visual spot the difference that will be in commands from this command on this particular project. Um, yeah, so what I want to try and to introduce some abstractions here, and maybe use function that we put for example, just some location and image, because basically all the comments are duplicated for ISO file and for uh, s for checksum file as well.
Yeah, I realized the same here. How about just using a glob like as the star after the ISO file?
Let me think. I believe that you cannot use it in this. Yeah, the problem here will be that sometimes we need to rename files. This here we don't rename, and since it's the same generation, a glob in cannot work with renaming files. Yeah, glob will not work if we specify destination file name. Yeah, this is the one of the problems. But yeah, for this particular case, if we see that we don't rename, for example, yeah, we probably could use globe. Yeah, so let's start, since nobody speaked up, let's start with this task. I
Right.
have
So
just
so to anybody, if in the meantime you have questions or you have some examples to share, I just speak up, bring forward that question or note or experience. And
You're just right in the chat, and Oliver will tell me because I don't
yeah,
follow
I
the
will
chat.
follow, right?
Yeah, so let's see what we have. This is freshly checked out project. Let's see what we have.
So
For
you
example,
just cloned the Git project, right? To be
yes, we wanted lib uh, lib images. There is project. Uh, yeah, so this is content, and it's exactly what we see in GitLab, surprisingly, or not surprisingly. Now, uh, if we go to README file of this project, it has two commands that work with script generation. First is, yeah, regen all the files, because currently we see only this expected output. What output we expect when we generate the scripts. Uh,
okay.
yeah.
So let me ask, assuming that I would be a person that never worked with that repository, I wonder, so I can call git clone and then I can call make. Um, what are safe commands to execute? Maybe you can just show that, you called make test, test regen all. Is that safe to call, or will that destroy my system, or will that delete something from OpenQA?
uh, as long as you don't use sudo or root, it should not destroy your system.
All right, good.
Uh,
So you're saying this is safe to call, and then you call git status. Uh,
exactly, it didn't change because all the generated files um, in ignore
right.
they're in ignore pattern, because we don't want them in the repository, because we don't actually care what script generated
Yep. All right, that's good.
these outputs, because this is, yeah, we start meta programming with idea to shift complexity from execution time, when we have all these yeah, libraries and checks, into into generation time. So we don't eliminate complexity, we just moved it, and at the point when scripts are generated. This is the main idea. It takes a bit more for development, but it should be like more straightforward to use it in production or to troubleshoot. Okay, so we um, can look now at the file that generates this output. It's kind of ugly, but it's still very simple, and maybe something can be improved. But keep in mind that this file, it is generated based on XML, so there's a lot of space for improvement, and we can also execute. Now we don't look at templates, we just execute this, yeah, generated file, and it prints exactly what is announced in
And
this before file
and
that
to
is
be
in
sure, this is
GitHub.
just showing the command that it would execute. Again, it's a save because it doesn't really execute anything.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole idea that I was thinking what kind of template we can have which will describe all the actions that will be done. And I realized that using bash to describe these commands is uh, this most straightforward approach, because if I like invent my own protocol and then map it to bash commands, it will be even more confusing
Right.
and bug prone. Okay, so let's again look at what we have. I will in this folder for this project. So lst file, in this case, it's only one file that is comes from uh, GitHub in this case, but in production it will be generated by another command that is probably out of scope today. Then before files are those that we have templates with expected output, and they are also in GitHub. And aside shell files, these what we generated, and these files they produce this output. If we change something in output differs for some reason, then we should update these before files in GitHub. Okay, and now let's make a copy of this shell file to make sure that we don't overwrite it. We want to deal with generating ISO files for now, and let's name it wanted. Okay, and um, now we can safely modify it and experiment what we can do. So the idea is to, instead of these two commands, is to have something um, um, some abstraction, rsync uh, ISO, and then we pass some parameters in this new function. This one, then a set folder, best. We don't need this anymore. And instead we will create some function at start. So it will be something like yeah, so obviously you need a bit of bash to do with this, but the good thing that you can safely experiment without needing access to live system, because it's
It's just
just
refactoring of commands, and in the end, the command what would be called. And
exactly. So it's quite safe. So we create function in bash, and this function, if it's called, it will do actual rsync command. So yeah, we should make sure that we don't accidentally call the function. So we only print code to the until the point when we want to actually. Okay, so this was first parameter, as long as I remember. This was second parameter. Yeah, obviously it's better to have named parameters, but yeah, let's start. This was first parameter, and this was the last parameter. Okay, so we modify this, what we want templates to generate us. Let's see what it prints. Oops. Was okay, so we didn't close the okay, so now it looks more abstract because this is what we got. We got for each ISO file, we got only one command now, and it will execute both are sync commands for uh, sh for checksum file and for uh, okay, so what else we can do here? We see that in our case, destination parameter it doesn't differ from source parameter because, but so maybe we can check in this function if destination is not provided, then we just use source for it.
Yeah, there was one note. You have an extra closing double tick at the end of in the function rsync ISO. I think
Yeah, here. Yeah, thank you.
don't need that, right?
And here we don't have it. Okay, let's try again. Okay, now it looks better. Mm. Okay, so now we compare to what it was. It's a bit cleaner, I would say. At least look at it and understand what's going on. Also, something like uh, in this, or let's let's stop at this and it's the new version.
Yep. So let me just cross-check my understanding so that we repeat a bit more. What you did is you changed the scripts which are normally generated, try out simply how it would look like, how the end result would look like, and now you need to take a look into the actual generator and then make sure that it ends up with what you put into ISO wanted.sh, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I can imagine that it's hard to follow, but yes,
No, it's fine. I just want to,
no, not for you.
yeah, this is why I'm rephrasing just the same so that if somebody got lost, maybe we have a different angle to understand.
Okay, so now what I usually do, I find all these pieces of bash that are used here in generated files. They are in um, kind of config file, which is written in Python, surprisingly. And it is like this because these are, some of them are overloaded in our internal syncing because they have a bit different requirements, different syntax. But um, yeah, so I try to find a piece of code that generates this code. Yeah, it looks like this is what we need. It calls rsync iso lambda function. And I remember that it's familiar to what we do, and it has rsync commands function. It's a bit here, and it has these two commands that we generate. We need to change it around here. So what we first can do, we can insert here the function that we want. Uh, this is our wanted file, and we insert it into basically template. The only thing I see that instead of using lib pass here, we can do, we should do it the same way like it was before. Here you see this is some kind of macro. So the idea is that it's so complicated, so you don't think about what exactly everything do. You just try to uh, modify it the way you need, and then see what we got from here. And here, yeah, let's remove this. We don't need our assume comments, and here we need uh, this line. Okay, it should work. Now uh, we use again the same make command that we used to regenerate all the files.
So that one calls the Python script and generates the rsync iso.sh.
Exactly. And now we can see, hopefully we do everything right, and we will see what actual command generates. Yeah, it looks, um, yeah, looks about right. Is it? Or at least, yeah, we can start actual testing, but if we see, if we look at them, git di oops at git status, it will show that, yeah, basically no. Okay. So now what we need to do, we need to update all the templates, because the default files, they remain the same until we, yeah, change them. So first command was, if we go back to readme file, make test again all that regenerate scripts. But if we want to update output of the script, expected output, we need to use second command.
Yanis, you had a question?
Yeah, can you remind me? This is runs as a cron job.
uh not so basically bash scripts, they are just there, they stay there, and you can call them whatever, yeah, either by cron, for example, yeah, or from other tools. In openqa, it was on the last session, it's called by notification from a special service that monitors updates in OBS, and another service. So
So it's synchronously. Whenever there's a change on OBS, then triggers recording scripts. I think as part of a minion job.
yeah, but it is kind of out of scope of this particular project. It just provides these files that will do the job.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so now we check with git status, and we see that for all the projects we modified our expected output that we will see. And if we try git for if we try git dev tool for the change that we just done, yeah, it will show like this, and it will show like this in the commit as well. So I would say maybe it's even better, maybe not. And if you want to copy something, you can, yeah, copy this function and then execute. Does it make sense so far?
Um, it does make sense to me. I wonder how would we ensure that this really works in production? Because so far we never actually executed an rs thing. Right?
What I do, I can uh, take generated like new version for one particular project, maybe put it into production, run it, and see that it works. Another way, I have these tests, yeah, Docker tests, but I'm not sure if they're, um, yeah, if they, how to say, okay, probably screen. So this Docker test, it creates the files, it repeats layout that you expect in OBS,
So
and
it
then
creates the source directory layout.
yes, and then it kind of calls the function that reads those files. Yeah, basically it calls all the sequence, but this case is like it's very complicated. Surprisingly, it didn't fail recently. Yeah, because not much changing. But yeah, I don't see any better way like to ensure that I call it integration test here, that whole sequence works. I mean, um, if there
The
was some
async,
syntax error,
right, but the rsync command, I mean, the async command basically takes a source and a destination, right? And how we refactored that a bit. I guess what one could try is to say copy paste part of the generated and
exactly, yeah.
then see how it, if it actually finds the source, it doesn't try to copy, finds the source. Or another possibility, because again, it's just rsync. Rsync also has I think it does have a dry run command, right?
Yeah,
So,
you can like insert here a dry run inside the function.
let me check. You're changing manually the print rsync ISO before ripped file, basically, right?
Or I would say I take the commands from there
Yeah,
and modify the way because they kind of prepare it to use in production.
right, both works.
Yeah. Okay, so um, now we kind of made the whole sequence. We prepared what we want to have. We changed the templates, and we have different outcome. Uh, and now we can have a look what we can improve here. And as I told earlier, what we can do, we can make sure if source file and destination files, if no renaming is needed, maybe we should not pass the second parameter. So it will be kind of more compact at least.
Right. So the third parameter would be optional only if you want to have it called differently on the target.
Exactly. So we can, yeah, let's again modify our wanted file to make sure what yeah, we didn't overwrite it accidentally, and we have something to like what we are aiming for. And here um, the, let's do it this way. We uh, we just test if
Andre, like 4 lines above, you have if the test is equal to source. How about just moving that into the function so that we actually don't that?
the problem is that yeah, you need to understand the consequences. The problem is that these are pieces um, of bash, and in some projects after this line we need to insert some logic that will modify this.
And
For
that relies on
example,
the variable.
uh,
Okay.
let's try any um, staging project. Yeah, this like this one. Uh, Printer sync is so So you see, it detects, okay, we have this staging project, so we need to, yeah, inject this command. And and here later we don't know whether let's see, it generated. Yeah, let's see at the output of in this project. Yeah, you see here is the source and destination. We injected the staging core, but we need to do for every staging project. So this is the part, yeah, that is tricky. So what we aim, we don't rely that they will be always equal. We just need to uh, yeah, to move this, to check this later, to make, so we have these pieces the same in different projects. Uh, Again, it kind of complicates generation part, but we care about it less because we care more about generated comments, so they look simpler. Yeah, something like that. And maybe let's do it if it's ISO, we will not do anything. We will just do like, we will not pass anything as well. Okay, and here let's introduce two variables. Test 4.
Yeah, without the leading colors, the variable name.
Yeah, Perl makes some impact. Oh, by default we will take ISO. And here's, yeah, we need to, I noticed it earlier. So since we pass, we want to pass SRC as separate parameter, we will introduce one more parameter here. And correspondingly here, we will take this. Um, okay, let's see what we've got. In our wanted template, it looks even better. It looks even better because currently we have this. So we basically, we don't pass these parameters because they equal. And now we, yeah, we kind of do the same in generate, in the part that generates yeah, I'm not sure if I should do it, or we can, I don't know, maybe we have questions because it's 20 minutes left. What I, yeah, then I will type and see that, make sure that we generated actual template the way we want. But if you have some other questions or suggestions, let's concentrate maybe on them. Uh,
So does anybody of you from the audience have experience with this project? You tried to bring in something. There was a surprise, maybe it wasn't, or maybe not really big issues that you have encountered, but how did you start your project? Try to bring in new products, new projects. How was your experience?
I believe only few people actually kind of tried it and
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
tried to
right, but
fix things.
yes, but there are some solutions to projects, so I wonder if there are some experience.
Okay, we're almost
So Guillaume shared in chat, just copy pasted from previous leap or other architectures and adapted. Same by Phoenix. And I think that's maybe the best approach, a really valid approach.
Yeah, the idea was like if you don't need any like changes or refactoring, then it should be straightforward. If you are lucky and you have project that does things similarly.
Yeah. Phoenix,
So
fun.
one of the difficulties that I encountered while working with this one is that it relies on certain host specifications like OBS Publish, I think. And it is incredibly difficult to get a listing of the available files there. So you kind of have to fish in a great pond and hope that your globs and your file names just magically match. Otherwise, yeah, good luck.
But this is problem not only hostname, but that you will not have access of these files. I mean, because they're hidden. There was idea to make the same access to get those files using OBS API command, but then again it will be differently run in test environment on your machine and on production.
Yes.
So it will not solve all the problems. So this is not only solution of hostname, it's solution for access. And currently, yeah, there's some security concerns and etc. So I consider it's not like problem with this library, because otherwise, like there was version before that and you could run it, yeah, mostly the same only on one machine.
For me, the easiest would be to just have a HTTP listing and some access to the machine that actually publishes it.
This is, and this is what is not happening.
Yes.
It's not, let's say, it's not under our control.
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, the OBS developers, they are even not happy that we copy directly from, in our case, from OBS backend. But historically it works, so nobody changes it. But I definitely agree with you. But it is not something that I wanted to solve because I had many other challenges. And this is not trivial task. If it would be like just enable HTTP access, it would be very easier.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Andre.
But your concern is, I feel it. I feel it. At the same time, if you have access to the production OBS machine, then it should be easy to get the pass, and we can try it right now to get like pass of the project that you need.
Yeah, so it would be log into O3, openqa-trigger-from-obs, call the rsync command with the exact path only the source path, not the destination, and see if that actually lists something.
Okay, so we regenerated the comments the same way we did it for, and yeah, maybe we can, let's see how it affected, for example, tumbleweed. Why not? Yeah, not much. So we have still 15 minutes. What I wanted, yeah, I believe the biggest change will be on this a bit different named project. I saw it. It has, yeah, many ISO files. Okay, got it. So you see, like this is before version that we have currently in GitHub. If we introduce this change, it will look like this. So when we pass HDD, we have like another parameter HDD here. So it's a bit cleaner to see at it, and maybe it's not that bad to yeah, to use it in manually in production. So,
Looks pretty good. That view. Could you just walk us verbally? How would you do? You know what I see in line 10 to 17. I see that the only difference is in GNOME KDE X11 X. Is there a possibility that we could say we introduce something like, you know, curly brace? No, I just saw that the destination differs.
no, where is it? No, it shouldn't. I think it's a good question. Or
Yeah, but
yeah,
you have
this
like
is
GNOME
for
as minor case, and then in the file name it's GNOME with uppercase.
but these are taken from, okay, yes, but we can see what challenges we have and what will prevent us from, yeah, we can try and see what we can do. So this is yeah, we should look at XML file. Hmm. Is it? Yes, okay. Yeah. Yeah, you see this. Okay, if we just forget about flavor for a second. Let's see what we can do. Sorry, this is a laptop. I usually don't work with it, so I'm struggling a bit with the keyboard.
Okay.
Because yeah, my machine currently. Oh my god. No. Let's. We have something similar in Tumbleweed, but yeah, of course it's different in every project. But at least we can try direction and see if it works. Okay, so we did it like this, and now we just regenerate and see if it will. By the way, this is the last. The first is like just regenerating files, and the last it does some checks, and those checks were saving me maybe, but it's for another time. The check, like if you have like some name in print ISO file, you need to have it in openqa command. If you don't have it in openqa in ISO's post command, then something is wrong. And there's few checks like that. Okay, what we had? We had we have everything missing. Let's see how we generate. Yeah, so again, as I told you, what we should do, we should have a look how we want XML file to look, for example, and then see what we can do different about generation. Because I see here is more or less okay, and still it doesn't. Did we update properly? Let's try again. So we have flavors here. Then we find a src file for each, and then we print our single cell file. So something doesn't work. Let's try for few flavors. I would just avoid printing going for other flavors. I would just go only by those that we want.
Okay, Andre, I would like to cut it short here.
Yeah, we are out of time.
Right, but I
the
think
idea is
the idea is clear. Yeah, you would
Yeah,
have
so you
the shell
see
scripts and then the generator.
Yeah, how do you want to look at it and try to achieve? If it's like kind of not working at all, then yeah, you can ask me and maybe I have ideas, because yeah, all this generation, yeah, I admit it's complicated.
Okay, cool. So any last minute questions or note by anybody else? Doesn't look like it right now. I think that nice walkthrough, Andre, motivated some people to look into the project. If you want to, some simple changes, or if you have some ideas of what could be tried out and improved, feel welcome to experiment with that. And as always, for all the projects that the SUSE QE Tools team maintain, we are happy to receive pull requests, even if they're just outlining an incomplete rough idea, then we are happy to help you with that, give you some suggestions and some help and support how to continue. With that, thank you, Andre. That was quite helpful. Thanks a lot. And
Yeah,
for
thank
the
you.
and for the next week, we do not have a topic set yet, and we could we have some right. So we have some suggestions for topics that we could do. There's one open topic which didn't have an appointment yet, which is openqa test your management best practices, how to file new tickets. But I'm thinking also to bring in topics for features or important changes that we did recently. So please watch the wiki page and stay posted for we will bring to you in one of coming meetings. With that, thank you all for your attendance and hope to see you next week.